Hello everyone, my name is Jeremy, and in this video I'll be showing you how to use OCR to send document data to business applications using Power Automate. I'll begin the video by showing the example that I've configured, and then I'll take you through how it was made step by step. The automation begins when an email with an attachment is sent to a specific inbox. Here you can see the PDF of the invoice that was sent with the email. Coming into Power Automate, we can see that the email was received, which initiated the automation, and in the following step, OCR is used to extract information from the PDF. In the output section, elements of the invoice such as the customer address, recipient, invoice total, and invoice date were extracted and identified. The following two steps are used in conjunction. First, we use a HighGear search contacts action in order to find the company being referenced in the invoice. In the output of this step, you can see that Everhard Associates, the example company from the invoice, was found in HighGear. After this, we use a HighGear get contact action in order to retrieve all of the information related to the company being invoiced. We use the HighGear contact ID that was output from the previous step in order to identify that we want information on Everhard Associates. Here, you can see that more information related to the company, such as the accounts payable manager, has been retrieved. Finally, we use a HighGear create task action in order to have Power Automate create a task with necessary information from the invoice in HighGear. Coming into HighGear to look at the newly created task, we can see that the PDF invoice file is available to be downloaded, the invoice total is listed, and other information such as the customer company is filled in and the invoice is ready to be approved in HighGear. We're now in Power Automate looking at the first step of our automation. In this step, we've set up an email rule to trigger the automation if an email that includes the phrase new invoice in the subject line is sent to my inbox. When configuring these rules, you can specify criteria such as the email folder, recipient, sender, subject line, email importance, and if attachments are included to determine which emails will trigger the automation. After this, add and apply to each step to the automation and insert the dynamic content titled Attachments into the Select and Output from Previous Steps field. The attachments dynamic content is an output that is created when the first step in the automation takes place. After this, since the document type that we want read are invoices, we're using the extract information from invoices action that comes with Microsoft's AI Builder tool. This is one of multiple out-of-the-box OCR features that comes with the AI Builder, but if none of the out-of-the-box features are compatible with the documents you want to be read, you also have the option to train a custom AI model to fit your needs. In the invoice file field, we're inserting the dynamic content that is titled Attachments Content. This was also retrieved during the first step of the automation. In the next step, we're inserting a HighGear search contact step in order to find the HighGear ID of the company associated with the invoice. We've indicated the HighGear contact class and type that should be searched for, and if we scroll down, we can see that we're searching by the HighGear field titled Full Address. In this field, we've inserted the dynamic content titled Customer Address that was retrieved after the document was read by the AI. Depending on the information available, you could also search by field such as the company name that is pulled from the invoice if it has a match within HighGear. After the search contacts action, we're going to insert another apply to each action. This will be nested within the first apply to each action that was added a few steps ago. In the select and output for previous steps field, we're going to add the dynamic content titled body that is an output of the search contacts HighGear action. Next, we'll be using a HighGear get contact action. In the contact ID field, we'll be inserting the contact ID that was pulled from the search contacts action that just took place. As explained earlier, the search contacts action was used to retrieve the ID of the associated company in HighGear, and the get contact action uses that ID as a reference to pull all of the information related to the company from HighGear. Finally, we'll be using a HighGear create task action in order to automatically create a task in HighGear that has all of the necessary invoice details. This uses dynamic content from multiple steps in the automation. Starting off, we've specified that the HighGear task form being used is the invoice approval form. In the attached files file name field, we've added the attachment's name dynamic content that was retrieved from the first step of the automation. Moving down to the attached files file content field, we populated that with the dynamic content titled attachments content that was also retrieved from step 1. With both of these attached files fields filled out, the HighGear task will attach the same file that was originally sent in the email and also have the same name of that file as well. In the invoice total field, we're using the dynamic content titled invoice total text that was retrieved from the OCR step of the automation. This pulls a text string of the invoice total to be input on the HighGear form. Moving along to the brief description field, we're using the name dynamic content to specify the name of the company whose invoice is being approved. On the dynamic content menu, you can see that the name field was retrieved twice, both when the contact was searched for in HighGear and when the full set of contact data was retrieved in the get context step. Either one of these can be used in the automation and it will have the same result. Lastly, in the customer field, the contact ID that was retrieved from the search context and get context steps was inserted so that HighGear users know the exact company contact record that was referenced when the task was created. Just as the name field was retrieved twice during the automation, either one of the contact IDs can be inserted into the field and produce the same result. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. I hope this was able to help you understand how to use OCR within Power Automate to send document data across business applications. If you have any questions about Power Automate, Microsoft AI Builder, or HighGear, links to resources on those applications can be found in the description. Thank you.